None of girls, let me see your hands. Wave them at them bitches hating on you with their friends. Girl, you got it. Let them know that
Hey you guys, what's good everybody? Welcome back to my channel. Man, this episode was nothing but pure chaos from beginning to end. So let's just jump right into it. So last night's episode kicks off with Natalie and Summer at the radio station. Natalie basically, flat out asks Summer how she feels knowing all of her ops are about to just walk through the door. Summer, of course, doesn't care. She's popping her shit as she always does. And she's basically ready for the girls. So anyways, the girls walk in and immediately there's tension. They're looking around, wondering why, Summer's even there in the first place. So, Summer starts going at it, talking her stuff, just constantly talking her stuff, and at some point she did throw a compliment to Dolly, but of course Dolly wasn't feeling it. She felt like it wasn't genuine, which it wasn't, because it kind of threw me off for a loop too. I'm like, why is she complimenting Dolly all of a sudden? I don't know. It was just really awkward. So, Dolly, wasn't no fool. She definitely wasn't buying it at all. She knew it wasn't genuine or wasn't coming from a genuine place. So after that, Summer just kept going back and forth. She wasn't allowing no one to talk. The DJ couldn't talk or anything. At some point, Diamond the Body got very irritated and launched a water bottle at Summer's face. At this point, security just went ahead and removed, Summer from the interview. Okay, so once, Summer was gone, it was a sense of relief from the girls. So the DJ started asking her questions, asking Natalie what was the status of her and Scotty's friendship. And as the DJ is talking to Natalie, she kind of chuckles a little bit like, yeah, notice at the reunion, you were laughing when Scotty said she was pregnant. So the DJ just, being a little messy. And that basically rubbed Rolly the wrong way. Rolly and Scotty, they're friends. So Rolly was like, nah, you're not going to just sit here, bring up my friend, laugh and be messy. I'm not putting up with this. Like, I'm about to go off. I'm not doing this. So Rolly eventually removed herself from the interview, which I respect. You're not about to just sit here and talk about my friend, why are you even bringing up this girl in the first place? At the same time, I do understand why the DJ did it, because the fans and the viewers want to know, but at the same time, Rolly's a good friend. She's not going to allow anybody to try to paint Scotty a certain way when when she's not there to defend herself, basically. Anyways, the next scene is basically the cabaret girls meeting up at the house. So right away, Kanaya wasted no time checking Neek about her loyalty. I guess, Kanaya felt like, Neek was being fake and phony and wasn't, sticking with the cabaret girls. And basically called her out, saying, Neek, you made a pact saying that the cabaret girls was going to stick together. So Neek, of course, denies everything and saying that wasn't the case. She did not say that. So, obviously Zeus played a clip of Neek saying that at the very beginning of the season. Amber obviously still had some smoke with Neek and basically called Neek out, calling her scary. And and she never stands on business. So they go back and forth. Neek, she don't want no smoke. She says she's injured. Amber's like, I guess Amber really wanted to see Neek about something, but she had stitches in her head too. But she definitely didn't stop antagonizing Neek at all. So of course, Miss Wet Wet wanted to include herself and basically, called out Neek as well, saying that she wasn't standing on business, that she should stick up for herself and blah, blah, blah. Neek gets very irritated. At this point, I thought Neek was just going to take off on Miss Wet Wet because she was annoying. It's like, girl, stay out of it. You're not even in this. But, Miss Wet Wet, of course, she's always in somebody's face. But yeah, at that point, no one did anything. So that was that. So then Natalie finally calls Miss Showgirl Neek and let her know that there is going to be a meeting, but it's not going to be held at the house because last time the girls tore up the house. So they're going to have a meeting at rehearsal. So everybody needed to come. So they end up having their meeting at rehearsal. Right away, Biggie walks in with some dancers, which triggered Natalie. And Natalie's like, who are these girls? I thought you had a problem with outsiders coming in the house, basically checking, Biggie, calling her out. And Biggie's like, well, these are just dancers. They don't have nothing. They're not on that type of time. And Natalie's like, I don't care. I don't know them. Like, let's check their bags, and basically Natalie went from that to like, why you got security on stage? Who are you to think that you can have security on stage? And Biggie's like, well, stop, I can do what I want to do. And basically like, I won't perform. And Natalie was like, don't then. And Biggie calls her the B word. And Natalie was like, call me the B word again. And we can just basically thump. So they go back and forth at that point. And, Natalie's just calling Biggie out on being scary, talking about this is baddies. You don't do anything. You don't stand on business. Or why are you here? Just calling Biggie out as she should. Because Biggie, she's been kind of, I kind of understand both of them. Biggie's like, okay, I earned not to be able to do anything. I've been here on so many seasons. Now I'm about my bag. I'm about my money. I'm not about to just fight just to be fighting. And I do get Natalie too. It's like, girl, but when someone, checks you or challenge you, stand on business. This is baddies. So yeah, anyways, they go back and forth. Next, Miss K. Rican walks in and Tinkerbella immediately confronts, Miss K. Rican and basically wants an apology for the stuff that Miss K. Rican was saying online. So Miss K. Rican, she can't fight, but she ain't no punk, you know what I mean? So they, basically go at it. Miss K. Rican's like, okay, if you want the smoke, let's go. So they start going back and forth. After they stop fighting, I guess Tinkerbella goes up to Miss K. Rican, demands an apology, and Miss K. Rican was like, I'm not giving you anything. And then Tinkerbella's like, I guess all season, we're going to be fighting. And Miss K. Rican was like, do what you need to do, basically. So that was that. Which is annoying. I don't know why Tinkerbella be getting on my nerves. I don't even see the point of her really being on the show, to be honest with you. I know she does music, but in my opinion, don't come for me, you guys, but her music is kind of whack. I don't know. I just feel like she just be trying to just conjure up beefs and nobody pays her no mind, in my opinion. It's like, girl, get a new storyline. But anyway, that's just my opinion. So after they go back and forth, Ciroc walks in and first thing she noticed is Mariah Lynn. So the last episode, when Ciroc was, her and Big Lex was going at it, Mariah Lynn jumped in that fight. So Ciroc at this point, like, I just want my ones in with Mariah Lynn. I still haven't forgot you jumped in. So Mariah Lynn, of course, sees Ciroc going after her. So she jumps behind security and starts throwing out the small card. Oh, look at you. You want to go after the small one. But girl, you jumped her. You talk that big talk like you a big girl and you jump in fights like you're a big girl. So now that she's seeing you face to face, what's the problem? You know what I mean? So Mariah Lynn is Mariah Lynn is whack to me. I'm sorry. She's scary and she's just so annoying. So anyways, at this point, Tesehki sees Ciroc going after her friend. So Tesehki's already putting her hair up. Like, she's like, okay, now I see you. So finally, Ciroc goes after Mariah Lynn for the last time. And this is when Tesehki sneaks Ciroc and basically smacks her. So they go at it. And to be honest with you, I don't know. Ciroc was hanging with her, Ciroc, or, I guess she pulled Teseki's hair, or maybe Teseki's hair went over her eyes, but Ciroc grabbed her and almost drugged Tesehki to the ground. And Tesehki was still swinging, of course. She was still standing on 10 toes, But at the same time, Ciroc got her. After the fight was over, clearly Tesehki had, a big scar or whatever on her head, and Ciroc had the same. But then Tesehki started saying, look at you, you're grabbing hair, blah blah blah, but you snuck her. So what? There's no rules in fighting. If I gotta grab your hair and get you down on the ground, so be it. You snuck her, you didn't give her a warning. So what's the problem? So Ciroc did handle her own. Like, I think out of everybody, she was the only one that had Tesehki kind of stumble, like, to be honest with you. So that was a very good one-on-one in my opinion. Anyways, you guys, I would love to hear your thoughts on this latest episode. Go ahead and drop me a comment, and don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to subscribe, and please don't forget to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Until next time, you guys, bye.